Hey guys, Lon from the ECOM Zone, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how I'm testing and scaling Facebook ads with the Andromeda update. So I'm sure some of you guys are in a similar situation to me, where sometimes you'll have a very profitable day or 2 days or even 3 days, and then suddenly your sales plummets. And on that day, you just basically lost all that profit that you've made over the past 3 days. Now this can happen quite often, especially with the Andromeda update. So normally when you're scaling, you just increase in budgets and you leave the budget as it is, right? Even on those lost days, even on those break even days, even on those days where you're not making any sales, you don't touch your budgets. Well, personally for me, I don't do that anymore. So the way I'm scaling my dropshipping store with Facebook ads is that I am adjusting budgets on a hourly or 3 hour basis. So essentially what will happen is I'll wake up at around like 9 a.m. or whatever time I'm waking up, and if my sales aren't that great for the past 9 hours, then I'll reduce my budgets. So today has been a really good day. So you can see here that we've made 1.4k in sales and our spend is only £180. So we're on like a 6x ROAS or whatever that may be. Now you can see that the purchase conversion value that Facebook has tracked is only 560. So that's why the ROAS is only 3 here, and Facebook only tracks 40% of my sales, and it makes it very, very difficult for me to even see what's working. But luckily today, this campaign here, which is a buff campaign, picked up 4 sales and it's picked up £530 purchase conversion value. So what I did at 9 a.m., I just increased the budget. Now it started at £60, I've increased it to like £90 at like 12 p.m. Right now it's 5 p.m. And then at 3 p.m., if the results are still good and I'm still making sales and I'm still profitable, then I'll bump up the budgets again. So you can see here, I bumped up the budgets. These two, I've slowly increased the budgets as well. But again, it's only got 9 add to carts and no checkouts or purchases. So I'm not even too sure if this campaign is getting me any results. And that's why it's very difficult for me to scale. However, on your side, if you know a campaign is profitable and your ROAS is like 3, 4, 5, just bump up the budgets. It really doesn't matter. And you do that throughout the day, and it's called self scaling. So every 3 hours or 5 hours or whenever you have time, check your ads manager. If you're still profitable, you're still crushing it on that day, increase the budgets. Now, how much do I increase it by? Literally, it doesn't really matter. The thing is, let's just say I increase this campaign to like £400. It won't actually spend £400 today because there's only 6 hours left of the day. And that's why if you double it, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to overspend and you're not going to actually spend £400. It will only probably spend about 200 total because there's only 6 hours left of the day. So that's why if you just increase this to like 160 and you're only increasing it by £12, you're not really increasing the budget at all. And so Facebook won't even increase the spend. So what I'm going to do now is just increase this to like £190.88. Actually, I like another number. £193.88, right? Let's just say I publish that. Now Facebook is going to give this campaign more spend. However, again, is not going to spend £193.88. So in 3 hours time, so 9 p.m. or so, I'll check back, see my sales, see my ad spend, and if I'm still profitable, I'll increase the budget again. Now let's just say it's 11 p.m. now and we're coming towards the end of the day. What I actually do is reduce all these budgets again. So I'm going to set this back down to £60, set this back down to £60, set this back down to £50 or whatever the original budget was, right? The reason I'm doing this is because on the next day, you don't know if it's actually going to be a good or bad day. And this is how I minimize my losses and increase my profits. Honestly, those days where you could just leave budgets as it is and just wish for the best, I'm done doing that. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like losing money, and especially on slow days where you wake up with barely any sales, it's like, is there something wrong with Facebook today? There probably is. Now, back then, if you had slow sales during the morning, it'll pick back up during the night and then you get your sales back. But these days, that hardly ever happens. Usually, if it's a slow morning, the whole day is going to be slow. And so, what I've done now is we're just reducing budgets and we're only scaling budgets on days where it's very profitable in the morning. And basically, you're betting on the fact that the rest of the day will be good. Same again, if it's a slow morning, very bad sales, you're betting on the fact that it's going to be a very bad day for the rest of the day. So why spend? So just cut back budgets. So let's just say like this was £60, right, at 12 a.m. I wake up 9 a.m. and sales has slumped. What I'll do, I'll just reduce this to £40, right? And then that way we're minimizing losses on those bad days. Now, some people say, like, won't this affect your learning phase? Personally, for me, I think learning phase is just rubbish. It's just a gimmick that gets people to spend more money so they get 50 sales. So it goes into active phase. I've had campaigns go from learning to active and then underperform and do worse than when it was in learning. So for me, I don't really care about the learning phase. And also this opportunity score at the top, I don't care about that too. Because sometimes you do have to switch off Advantage Plus. Sometimes you just don't want Facebook to fiddle with your ads. So you remove the Advantage Plus, right? And so that's why your opportunity score will reduce. Now, how do I scale? All I'm doing is just increasing budgets. I don't actually do ad sets anymore. So I don't duplicate ad sets or winning ads. I just increase budgets. The reason why I don't duplicate ads anymore is because you're going to experience auction overlap and audience overlap, which Facebook does not like anymore. So I don't really dupe ads anymore. All I'm doing is increasing budgets, and every 2 or 3 days, I'm adding more ads into my ad sets. You don't really need to create new campaigns. You don't really need to create new ad sets. Just add more ads into existing ad sets and let it run. And of course, if you're going to add more ads into your ad sets and not switch any off, then you should really increase the budgets, right? Otherwise, if you have the same budget with more ads, that means some of your winning ads will get less spend, right? Because Facebook might spend more money into those ads that you added. Now, sometimes you may have a winning ad, right? And you make iterations and you add those ads into the existing ad set, right? So let's just say we'll go into here. Let's go back to the last week or so. So we got 7 sales, 6 sales, 3, 2. So let's just go into this one here. So we can see here that how many ads do we have open? Okay, let it load. Okay, we only have like 6 ads open right now. So what I can do is, okay, we know these 2 ads are doing well. So I'll just duplicate one of these ads into the same ad set. You could do it as many times as you want. So I could do it by like, I don't know, 3 times. And then I could ask ChatGPT to come up with more copy similar to that winning concept. So if I go to breakdown and I go to text, you can see here what text is winning. So for me, this text in the middle is actually doing the best. So what I'm going to do is just copy this text, go over to ChatGPT and ask it, can you come up with more variations for this ad copy that's generating me sales? Then it's going to give you the responses and you can then plug them into your new ads. And that there, guys, is how you test and scale your concepts. So with that, you found a winning concept and now you're testing variations of that winning concept. At the beginning, when you don't really have ads working, you're trying to find a winning concept, which is slightly different. When you're trying to test different concepts, you're testing founder ads, UGC ads, AI avatar ads, image ads, carousel ads. You're testing all of that, right? Then once you've found a winning concept, you double down, you create more variations, just like how I did in this one here. So we know this ad copy is doing really well. I am just gonna ask ChatGPT, create more variations for me. Maybe shout out my audiences, maybe shout out different audiences, and then tell ChatGPT, okay, my audience is XYZ. Can you make different ad copy for these different audiences and avatars? And that there, guys, is how you scale. So this scaling strategy that I'm using is called self-scaling, and you're basically scaling throughout the day, and then the next day you drop the budgets back down because you don't know if the next day is going to be a good or bad day. So recently there's more advertisers and bigger spenders, but there's less people on Facebook and Instagram. So everyone is fighting in the auction market, and there's just not enough people for Facebook to just distribute all our ads to. That's what I think anyways. So on some days you might get a pocket of audience that is really bad and you just generate no money. And that's why I cut back on spend on those slow days. However, like today, where we're generating a lot of sales and you're just like, okay, this is a really good day. They're giving me a good audience pocket. So let me scale the ads up. That's essentially it. And so yeah, this campaign is a retargeting campaign. As you can see, I split it up into 4 ad sets. There's different parts of the funnel. One part is Instagram, the next part is carts and checkouts. and then people who've interacted with my Facebook page or ads, and then also website visitors. So with the website visitors is anyone who's visited your website or they search for something, but they have not added to cart or checked out. And this is just a simple CBO retargeting structure that you can use once you pass 100 sales mark, because otherwise there's just not enough data and people to retarget. And yeah, so with these campaigns, I have a lot of different ad copy. I literally just spam these with a lot of ads. So you can see here, this one has about 10 ads. This one, Instagram, has about how many? 7 ads. And so we can see these ones are working best. And so I'm just gonna keep duplicating them and creating more variations of that ad copy. And for you guys, if you're running video ads, then you want to also make iterations of your video ads too. So that there, guys, is how I'm dealing with Facebook ads volatility. If you enjoyed this video and found it valuable, please smash that like button, subscribe to my channel for more content, and peace.